Big, big moment for us, everybody. I'm in a moment of peace, relief, relaxation. You don't even know, today is all about exams, and I just did my first exam, which I was mostly scared of. I was very scared of this exam. I was like, from all the exams, I have two exams. From both of those exams, this one was definitely the scary bitch. She was very intimidating. There was a lot of things to learn. Like, you could understand the concepts, but it's about, like, they're so deep and there's so much to them. And if you don't know one little thing, bye bye. So today I don't really feel like doing this podcast, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just so brain fried. Used up all of my brain cells for this exam. I had it at 11:45 today. Right now it's about 3:30. We're there's priorities. This podcast is my priority, and I think talking about exams is gonna be way easier than talking about anything else. So we'll literally power through. It's exam season. Like, what can I say? There's so much to say. But before we go into it, let's talk about my week, or whatever happened between last episode and this episode. I went to the best Italian place ever, literally ever. I have never been to a more delicious Italian place outside of Italy, obviously. Like, I'm not about to compare it to Italian, but it was Michelin star by real Italians. Everybody there was Italian, you can tell. I went with my Italian friend because I needed true authenticity. I needed her to tell me, is this authentic? Are people lying to us, or is this actually Italian? And she's like, bitch, this is authentic Italian. And I'm like, I'm not gonna try to talk in Italian. But I was like, que bueno. I wanted to say que bueno, but then I was like, oh, that's not Italian, that's Spanish. I learned Spanish, not Italian, so excuse me. But oh my god, it was so good. It's Michelin star, but the thing is that their dishes are like 15 euros, which, look, if you live in this country, 15 euros for a main course for dinner, beautiful price. That's literally under the normal amount that you would have to expect to pay for dinner. And it's Michelin star, authentic Italian. It was probably the best meal I've had in months. It was just delicious. Oh my god, we had tiramisu, we had bruschetta, I had these like filled tortelli with spinach and ricotta filling, and then a pumpkin, goat cheese, pistachio sauce. Mind-boggling. Oh my god, it was so good. It didn't leave you like, we had like 3 courses. We shared the appetizer and the dessert, and we had our own main course. But we were full, but we weren't like lugging ourselves. Like, we were good. We took a really long walk afterwards. We felt good. We felt well fed, satiated. Delish. I'm just so happy about that. I worked with children, and here comes a crazy story. So for my job, I can do multiple different things. And there was this job where I had to like work with children, do arts and crafts at this IKEA type place. It wasn't an IKEA, but it's kind of like for like industrial types of materials that people need. And there was like a little place where they can just leave their kids, work with us, make a little arts and crafts project for Halloween, and then leave. And it was so cute, so fun. However, I was supposed to be there at 9:30, 30 minutes before my shift started, just so that we can get ready well. And due to it being 2 hours and 50 minutes away from my house, I had to wake up at 5, and we couldn't make it until 10 a.m., which was fine. Like, that was when it started, technically. But obviously, you want to be there a little earlier. That's okay. So I woke up at 5, and I was traveling. So fun. When I was biking to the station, there was a guy, and this is the sound that he made. That that man was not okay. Throwing up violently all over the street. And I was just like, relatable. Because I wish that was my night. I don't wish this. I don't wish to be biking at 6 a.m. to work. No. But it was a fun job. So I'm not complaining completely. What was crazy about this was we had to take 2 trains and a bus. And so we took the 2 trains and we went on the bus. And the bus wasn't really that long of a journey. It was like 10 minutes. And we're finally there, you know, like we're like, okay, we're perfectly on time, you know. And we're finally there. And we have to check into the location. And so we get the sign-up sheet and you write your name. And then you have to write the date. And then you have to write the time. And I'm like, I wonder exactly what time it is that we're here. So I put one of my hands in my pocket, like so. And then I put my other hand in my pocket. I wonder where I put my phone. You know where this is going. Look at my bag, look on the counter. Miss Girl was nowhere to be found. Miss Girl was gone. She was not here. She was definitely not in the vicinity. She was not close to me at all. And I kind of started freaking out because my phone was not there and I did not know where it is. And I was like, where could it possibly be? And then I realized the last time I used my phone was on the bus. So, thus, my phone was left on the bus. And I was like, well, that was it then. We had a really good trip, me and my phone. We had a really good time together. I'm glad we had that time together because it's over. It's over now. I'm never going to see my phone again. I was praying there was some kind of nice human being that would be kind enough to give it to Lost and Found, but you know the world. The world is not a beautiful place. You can't look at it through rose-colored glasses, and my phone was probably not going to be there. But my boss was like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. You just got to go back to the station and try to find it in the Lost and Found. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like freaking out, anxiety attack. I was already having anxiety about the job. This was not going well for me. So I hop on the bus back, and it was not in the bus because I thought like maybe it'll go a little loop-de-loop, but this was the second bus after it, and I was like, fuck. And so I get to the station, and I go inside the station, and I wait for this lady for 30 minutes at the info desk, and then she finally comes, and I'm like, hey, queen, this is the gist. I lost my phone in the bus. She was like, in the bus? And I was like, yeah, in the bus. And she was like, sorry, this is not an info desk for the buses. You have to go outside to where the buses are and find the info desk. And I'm like, I'm losing so much time. So finally, I get out of there. I get to the bus side. I find the company info desk for the exact bus that I rode in. And there was a guy in front of it smoking. And he was like, how can I help you? And she told me, she was like, maybe it's closed during the weekends. And this was a Saturday. And I was like, no, it's not. Because I will open it. I will force open it. No, it's not going to be closed on the weekends. Not under my watch. Over my fucking dead body. Is this place closed? No. So I see this guy and he's like, hey, queen, how can I help you? And I'm like, hey, king, so I lost my phone on the bus. Please tell me you can help me. And he's like, oh my god, I just got a phone in right now. And I'm like, oh my god. I start freaking out and I'm like, guys, let's just, I think to myself, lower your expectations. Because this might very well not be your phone. This might very well be a disappointment. And he was like, with a sparkly black phone case? Yes, it is. So I enter the building and with him, and he takes out my beautiful, gorgeous baby. And I'm like, my child, I've missed you. And I grab that phone off his hand. I'm like, bitch, not another second away from me. How dare you run away from your mother? And I open it in front of him, and I'm like, here, it's my phone. Never been that happy. I left, the sun was shining, people were smiling at me, life was so fucking good. I felt so good. I've never felt that good in my life, which is so sad, because how can phones have such a fucking grip on us as a society? The grip that this phone has on me, as you can see. But I get to my job 1 hour late. That's fucking impressive. Considering that I just went through life or death in an hour, and I came back not empty-handed. Beautiful stuff. Got on the job, started working, was super fun. The day was great. Got home at like 7:15. My shift ended at 4. Got home at 7:15, and it was just, and then I went out. We had a Halloween party with my roommates, dressed up as a cute little skeleton princess. I just got the cheapest costume I could find. And I had like this cute little flower crown, and I had this cute little makeup look. And we went out to the city, and we got drunk before that, and we went to the clubs, and we danced, and we partied until like 3 a.m. And then we came back, and I went to sleep, and that was my day, and it was beautiful. Almost, I was awake for 22 hours that day. Did not regret a single second. Did not regret a single second, because that was so fun. Finally clubbing during uni. I did not club before that, I know. But come on, guys, I only turned 18 in September. Like, don't I know. It's embarrassing, but at least I did it now, and I'm gonna do it many more times. Suits. Thank you. Suits. I was a Suits denier, because everybody was talking to me about Suits. My friends were like, oh my god, Suits, it's so good. It's such a good show. And I'm like, shut up. I'm not going to watch another show. I just feel like I was watching too many shows at one point, and I'm still watching too many shows at this point. And I was just like, I don't really feel like starting a new show. And it seemed kind of serious, like lawyers arguing, like, come on, you can watch anything like that. I already watched How to Get Away with Murder. Don't need another one. But I caved, and I started watching Suits. And why is everyone right? Why does everybody have to be correct? That is such a good show. Suits is so good. It's so juicy, it's flavorful, it's funny, but it's also serious, but it's also just, it tingles, it scratches that specific part of my brain. I love Suits. So my recommendation for you is to watch Suits immediately, as soon as you can possibly watch Suits. I had the same shit with Formula 1. I was like, who the fuck wants to watch cars go vroom vroom? I don't get it. Going in circles, I don't get it. Now I'm obsessed with Formula 1. So I think I should probably give things a benefit of the doubt a little bit more, because it's so good. I'm still watching Gossip Girl now more than I'm watching Suits, but I think I'm gonna like cycle between phases, like watch an entire season of Gossip Girl, then watch an entire season of Suits, and the cycle goes around and around. Let's begin with the topic. I always warm up with this so that I actually have the decency to start talking normally when the actual topic comes up. Exam season stress. This is my first exam in uni. I did not know what to expect. I wrote this script when I did not do my exam. I see how being late does not work sometimes. I didn't know what to expect, because I did the IB for 7 years, and you get used to it. After a certain time, you just get used to the way they want you to answer questions. You get used to the way they ask you things. You just get used to it. So when I came here, I was like, this is a completely different environment. This is not the IB anymore. Like, I can't just, like, I did use my IB hacks and tricks, but it still is like, well, you have to also think about the way they want you to answer stuff may be different. So it was definitely really scary. And I didn't know what kind of questions they would ask me. Like, would it be really difficult? Would it be mostly practical? Like, would it be applying knowledge? Or would it be, like, only talking about definitions? Like, I didn't know. It was kind of a mixture, for sure, which I was really glad about, because I enjoy applying things. But I also, like, just in case I can't really apply it correctly, at least I can describe it. That's at least what I can do. So that gives you a little bit of points. And, like, when I don't have that formula in the IB, like, I kind of go crazy, because I am a very routine, very list type person, very, very type A type person. Whoa, so many types. So I was definitely like, oh, I don't have a formula for this. I don't know. I don't have like a game plan. I don't have a plan. So that was definitely freaking me out. But it turned out fine because I did study for around like 4 days, I'd say, like full days, morning to evening studying. And that was definitely very helpful because I just physically, like, oh my God, I forgot the word. I just physically put all that knowledge into my head. I was like, you're not forgetting anything, girl. Everything is in that brain of yours. For at least for right now. You can think about any other knowledge later and then skip this knowledge when you're done with it, but I need you to know it now. And I guess teachers here are different from my teachers at school because I had this conversation about like how teachers treated school and like if they were really nice or if they were kind of bitches about it or if they like stressed you out about performance. And in my school, they didn't really do that. They were very like, mental health comes first, guys. Don't stress yourselves out too much. We love you. You can do this. Just study a lot. And I guess it did help with the anxiety from IB exams and stuff. Like they were much more sweet to us and motivational. They tried to be. They tried to be. But you can appreciate that. But with this, it's like maybe one teacher is nice and then the other teacher's like, yeah, this is an exam. Just do your best, whatever. And it's kind of like, I need a little bit of like therapy right now. I need you to be my therapist for like 30 seconds and tell me that it's all going to be okay. And treat me like a little kid again. But I guess that's kind of the way it is. Like, you're not a little kid again. You're not anymore. You're not a little kid anymore. And you just have to calm yourself down because you're going to have a lot of exams. Like, you're going to have a lot of moments where somebody's testing you, job interviews, whatever. Or you have to write something special. And nobody's going to be like, it's okay, sweetie, you can do it. Like, that's high school. We're in the real world now, whatever that means. But I guess that's just how it is, and you have to kind of learn to depend on yourself for that and not on anybody else. But here were the things, and the things I'm still trying to remember because I still have another exam, is that like if this is your first exam like it was with mine this morning, look, first exam. You don't know anything. And if something goes wrong, you can't blame yourself because how are you supposed to know what to do the first time around? It's completely normal to not be perfect. And it's just another learning opportunity for you to be like, okay, well, look, I didn't do so good, but now I know what I fucked up on and what to expect next time. If you're doing a resit, now you know what to expect, what kind of questions they're going to ask you, how they're going to ask you the questions, how they expect you to answer. You're going to get a lot of knowledge. Best case scenario, you pass. Maybe the grade is not exactly what you want. You pass, and now you know for next time, and you do way better next time. It's really just testing out the waters. You just have to jump into it because yeah, you might fail, but that's how you learn. And like, if it's your first semester, we call them blocks, but if it's your first semester, like, come on. You're just starting. The material, they can't just force the most difficult high-end material on you. Just think about that. Like, look, relative to your knowledge right now, that's how they're gonna make the test. They're not gonna make the test for a professor. They're gonna make the test for a student that's just starting. Don't try to freak yourself out about the material because I'd say 8 times out of 10, we blow up all of these things out of proportion and we're like, oh my god, it's gonna be so difficult, I'm gonna be so bad at this, and then we're just like, oh, this was actually kind of easy. Oops, I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, you just get embarrassed and you just feel like kind of sad how much you stress yourself out for no reason. And like, if the material itself is pretty easy to understand, at that point all you have to do is apply it and try to remember the things you have to remember. Which is the bulk of the work, I'd say, but at least you understand it. Like, I feel like, okay, if I understand the material, if it seems like common sense to me, or if I manage to understand it correctly, you can do something with that. Like, basic knowledge, you can do something with that. And I don't know how this is gonna sound. I don't want it to sound rude. I want it to sound grateful. I want it to sound like I'm grateful. I have a privilege. I'm in an international course, which means that not everybody is fluent in English. I've spoken English my entire life. I've done education with English my entire life. Like, fluency is definitely there. Um, but there's a lot of people in my course that just they've done their schooling in a different language and now they're jumping into English, and that's gonna be very challenging for them. And that might also like make them stressed. So it's like people have bigger problems than just being scared. They have like actual reasons to be scared, like, yo, I don't speak this language very well, and they might deduct points if I have bad grammar or if I can't spell something correctly. So I tried to calm myself down by being like, at least I know really good English, because that definitely does help. Like, how you formulate your thoughts, how you answer a question, how you understand a question. Like, it has a very big impact, and it's definitely good to be like, okay, I'm grateful for the knowledge I do have, because some people don't have that. And there's always ways to bullshit things. Like, if you don't completely know what to say, you can dance near it. You can tango a little bit, and you'll get 1 point somewhere in there. Just write something. I feel like leaving something blank is such a waste of points. Just write something, anything that you know about this concept, this topic. Just write it down. Does not matter if it's perfect or if it's exactly what they wanted. It could be in that ballpark. And the worst they can do is give you no points, but at least you wrote something down, and that's just more chance of getting points. Oh yeah. I had 2 hours for 4 questions. 3 of those questions were 200 words, and one of those questions was max 800. When I was thinking about that, I was like, yeah, I think it's gonna be fine, considering the fact that I had more time for it, but that I've written 4,000 words. I think I'm okay. I think I'm gonna survive. And kind of like making it seem a little bit less scary than it is, because 200 words, if you understand what you're talking about, is a very quick writing time. And then the 800 word one, if you do those 3 questions of 200 words quick, you've got plenty of time to do the rest. So that definitely helped calm me down. And these are fun study hacks. Study hacks, because I hate studying. I have a distraction thing. Sometimes I'm very distracted. Sometimes I just do not have the motivation to study. And I've tried using different study hacks, and these are the study hacks that have worked for me. I'm not somebody that can read for like hours at a time. I need something to like keep me busy. So I take notes, or yeah, I take notes and I read my own notes, because I like to read over my notes and kind of be like, oh yeah, like jogging my memory. And okay, I joined the study association for my course, and they make summaries for each course. So, but you have to pay for it. But honestly, it's a fucking investment, because I used those notes religiously for that, and they definitely helped. They're super like ordered, because my notes might have more information in them, which I do think my notes had like a little more information in them, but they weren't as ordered as the association notes. The association notes were so organized. I was like, thank you. This makes so much sense. And it definitely did help with like putting everything together in a way. Um, Making notes throughout the course will help you tremendously. Will this take long? Yes. Will it be tedious? Yes. Will you thank yourself later? Absolutely. It's gonna make your homework take another hour and a half. But, but, it was so worth it, because those notes helped me so many times. They did everything for me. Every time I was like, oh, this is interesting, wrote it down. Oh, this is a term, wrote it down. This is a theory, or a person, or an author, wrote it down. Then I was reading through it and I was like, thank you, Yana. I saved so much time and effort. I had all the notes there. I just had to read over them. And it was pretty much the content of everything I read in little words. And okay, I do understand that some people have a lot of reading and they just cannot make notes on everything they read. That's definitely a thing you have to look out for, like relative to how much I'm reading, is writing all these notes really that like okay, like will it really be that realistic? And sometimes it just isn't, but that's something that you have to figure out for yourself. But I think still writing the most important things is worth it, worth the time, and worth the effort for later, because you're anyways going to have to read over these things again, maybe if you don't have the notes from them. So, kind of awkward. I feel like making notes is a way that keeps my fingers busy, and then I'm less distracted because I'm super like into it when I'm writing notes, because I'm trying to like formulate things in a way that I can understand, and that takes a lot of concentration. So I can easily do a couple hours of just writing. Yeah, I just have to keep my fingers busy. I have to keep something busy so that I don't get bored and distracted. Oh, Quizlet, baby. Quizlet, baby. Quizlet is two birds, one stone, basically. You make a Quizlet, and you go through your notes, and you write, like, terms, things that you want to remember onto the Quizlet flashcards. And not only are you making a quiz for yourself for later studying, but right now you're revising and making more notes on the notes you've already made. So it definitely did two things at once for me, for sure. And then afterwards, I was just doing my Quizlets, like, oh yeah. And it helped me get very much ahead of it and, like, remember a lot of things, because there was lots to remember. And Quizlet is just fun. Quizlet is like studying, but studying, but like make it fun. And I studied in the library. There's two libraries that I study at. One of them is legitimately the most quiet place. Not even as quiet as A Quiet Place, the movie. This place is, you can hear a pin drop. I am not kidding. You can hear people breathe. Like, it's so quiet in there. And on one hand, I really enjoy it because it does get you in the zone. Like, there's nothing that can distract you because nobody dares to move or make a sound. But at the same time, it can also be really distracting because when they do move and they do make a sound, you can hear it from fucking miles away. It echoes in that stupid room. And also during exam season, this is like the main library of the university. Like, everyone is there. It's so packed. And at that point, you don't even want to go in because you know you're not going to find a seat. So, there's another campus actually closer to my house, and that's where I go. Their library is perfect because there's a food court on the other side of the campus. Walk to the food court, 5-minute walk, get food, go to the library, eat food, study, eat food, study. You can be there for hours and hours and hours and hours. And it's not like too quiet, but it's also not loud. Like, you can hear sometimes people talking in the distance, or people moving, or people doing this, but like it's the perfect volume. Unless somebody's like, then that's just them being annoying. But most of the time, it's actually a very good environment and it has a very nice view. The view is beautiful. So that's, just find a library that works for you, because I feel like that's a really good way to change your environment. If I'm in my room all day studying, we're not getting anything done. Like, sometimes I will be like, I'll stay in my room if I'm doing homework, but I will not stay in my room if I'm studying. I'm gonna stay in the living room. I sometimes stay in my living room downstairs. Then it's fun, and sometimes my roommates like to study in the living room as well. So we're all just like quiet, but we're together, and I really like that like camaraderie. But it's just a way to like differentiate your surroundings, because my room is for sleep and entertainment purposes and homework. I will not be able to study. I will not be able to like really focus. Whereas the living room, I've made it kind of a study spot, and then the university library is obviously like, come on, girl, like that is just where you have to be. There's no other reason why we would be in the library. It just kind of gives you no way out, so you need to study. Otherwise, why are you there? You're taking somebody's seat that could have been there and studied. And it depends on the time of day for everybody, but I always study early morning to the afternoon, and then in the evening I'm out. I don't have that much motivation in the evening. I'm pretty unproductive after dinner, so I tend, unless obviously I have a lot to do, I tend not to do anything then. So I think also it's like bright outside, and I feel like when it's nice and light outside, you have a little bit more motivation, a little bit more energy. And now that it gets so dark, the earlier you begin, the better it is. So think about it, like if you're a night owl or if you're a morning person, you just kind of have to see where you're at there and find the best time for you to study so that you can maximize that focus potential. God, what the fuck? Taking proper breaks. Make sure to take a nice break. Talk to somebody, watch a little show, do something just to like get your mind off of all of the content, because just cramming it all in is going to make you forget everything. It's going to burn you out. Make sure you take breaks, and make sure you keep yourself fed and watered. Fed and watered. I don't want to hear it. I need you to be as, because if you get sick, if you don't eat because of stress, or if you don't drink enough water and take your vitamins, and you get sick because your immune system was like, bye-bye. No. That's not how you do an exam. And then what are you going to do? You can't study because you're sick. I can't study when I'm really sick. And then you're going to have to like fuck up on your exam. Like, you just can't do that. You have to keep yourself healthy as a fucking horse just to make sure that everything goes smoothly. You cannot have any distractions. Health is very important. And it's obviously good for you. You need to eat normally, and you need to exercise well, and you need to take your water, and just make sure that your body is treated like the goddess that she is. Getting enough sleep. Sorry, some kid was like crying or... Oh my god. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyways. Sleep. Get enough sleep. Because your brain needs the time to really process all of the information, and your body needs time to rest, because dude, studying is hard fucking work. It takes a lot of energy out of you. Make sure that you're sleeping so that you can get refreshed in the morning again and start again the next day. You need as much time as possible for this. Having a clean environment. Please wash your sheets. Please vacuum once in a while. Make sure there's no trash or dirty laundry or dirty dishes. You need to treat your environment very well, because when I have a very dirty environment, I cannot concentrate. I'm just like, ew, everything's disgusting, and I feel disgusting, and nothing's gonna get done. So make sure that if you know that clean environments are important for you, take that little bit of time, maybe in the evenings, because that doesn't really require much mental attention, more physical. So like when you're done with having a lot of mental stuff going on, just go and clean your room. And then in the morning when you wake up, you're like, wow, what a clean room. And then you'll thank yourself. And you'll thank me for reminding you. You're welcome. Here's some things to keep in mind. It all depends on the difficulty of your work. I can't exactly say what the best study method is for you, because it depends on how you learn. It depends on what the type of material it is that you're learning. And I guess you just have to be grateful for all your abilities, like I am with English, or like I am with the IB. Like, whatever you can do, you just have to be grateful for any type of thing that you have. I had to stop you because my mom called me, but it would not be a proper episode if my mom didn't call me. Anyways, had a wonderful conversation, by the way. Thank you for asking. I think some of us just don't have the environment to be able to study, and that's another thing you have to be grateful for, is the fact that, like, I have a library, I have a living room, I have my own room even. Like, even if it's not the ideal place, it's still a place that I can study. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't even have proper education. And I think we should just focus on the fact that we're here to learn. We're here to do something that we love, probably. Most of the time, that's why you're in uni. And just, like, chilling and having a good time. And honestly, just trying to learn. That's the whole point of studying and the tests. And I know tests aren't an amazing value of your knowledge or your abilities, but they are there to help you learn and to help you get ahead, and understand the material better. And it's definitely something to keep in mind, especially when you're really stressed or really fed up of studying. Just think, like, look, this is for the greater good. This is for my career. This is a privilege that I have to be able to have an education, and it's really easy to take it for granted. That's so many people want to have an education, but they can't. And I think when you do have that, you have to really take it and do your best with it, because you have it. You have something that not many people have. And failing a test does not mean you're stupid. Like, there's a lot of factors that might control us or might affect us, like mental health. Some people are really going through a tough time mentally, and that can really distract them from their studies. Or you have to go to your job because you don't have enough money to pay your rent, and you have to skip a couple classes. Like, these are the types of things that might hurt our education, hurt our abilities, but that does not mean you're stupid. That does not mean you don't have those capabilities. And you just have to take it easy on yourself and just try your absolute best. Whatever the best looks like for you is not what the best looks like for everybody. Just be as open-minded for yourself. Treat yourself like you would treat a classmate. If somebody's like, hey, I'm so fucking dumb, you're like, no, you're not. You've gotten to this point. You've gotten to uni. You're not stupid. And even if you don't get to uni, you're not stupid. We all have good things about us, less good things about us, and we can always use those good things to make something of ourselves. Uni might be one thing, and it might be a completely other thing, but there's hope for us always. So, thank you for listening. I hope you had a wonderful day. I hope you had a wonderful time with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. And if you're going through exam period, you can do it, babe. I believe in you. You're going to be just fine. And I hope this helped calm you down. But yeah. Love you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.